Welcome back, dear viewers, to She is Talking, and today we are happy and glad to have with us today a special guest that would talk to us about, let's say, some of the things that we really suffer from, like how to change or our personalities or our friends' personalities, if that is, we can change them or not. Today with us is Miss Bsmة السعد, and she's a rapid transformational therapist. So how about we greet her and ask her about this wonderful, let's say, title. Hello, and thank you for joining us, Miss Bsmة.
Thank you for having me.
So as my colleague mentioned, your title is very interesting. I haven't heard that title before. I don't know what your rapid transformational therapy. What does it mean? What do you work on?
So I work with the belief system and the programs that are within us. So for example, if someone comes to me with a certain behavioral pattern, or let's say he thinks negatively about himself, I would help him develop new belief systems that will motivate him to make a positive change.
Can you really change someone's beliefs?
Oh. Yes, you can.
Yeah.
You
really?
Can. Yes.
I want to change your beliefs.
So if you believe that you're...
Miss Bsmة, she wants to change my beliefs about,
let's say, how about the fact that we're matching with colors every single time?
But no, the beliefs about not wanting to take sports.
To go to the gym. I want to change her beliefs about going to the gym.
So that's a belief we can work with.
Okay.
So
and she'll probably change mine about swimming.
So let's say, for example, you have a past experience with the gym that wasn't pleasant, or you were programmed, or let's say you heard people talk negatively about the gym. So there is something that you believe in that's causing you to have this issue with the gym, like that behavior of not going.
So you tackle the main issue of a problem, right?
Yes, the root cause.
The root cause.
What if someone doesn't want to be cured? Can you really even change that belief of not wanting to be cured?
Usually I don't take clients if they don't want to change their because this is one of the first steps for you to actually take, let's say, positive action towards changing.
Yes.
But we can convince them otherwise. Like you can tell them, let's just try it, like for fun, or change the attitude towards a certain subject rather than just, okay, you have to change, you know?
Okay.
So it's the attitude and our way of thinking about the problem.
So what shapes our way of thinking in general?
Sometimes we imprint it from like our parents or from our environment around us. So if you listen to someone that always talks negatively about certain situation, you may acquire that thought as well. Or for example, you had a certain incident, a traumatic event or something that happened. After that, let's say emotional instability, you will create new programmings and beliefs within you about it.
Okay, so it's subconscious, if we can say that, right?
Yes, definitely.
Subconscious.
So, yeah, because whatever we do, we are all affected by whatever's coming around us. It's from the childhood. If you grew up in a cool, quiet environment, then this child is going to grow up as a quiet person, right?
Probably,
But sometimes, like, it can be the opposite. You can grow up in a very peaceful, let's say, family, but you're aggressive.
But something had probably happened, or he watched media or TV or his friends or
some
school.
sort of influence.
Some sort of influence. So I remember I had a client who had a problem with stuttering all the time. And when we actually worked together, she was 19. She's 19 when I did the session for her. Yeah. When she was 6 years old, her best friend in school was she used to stutter. And then she left. So she was 6 years with her throughout her life. They were also neighbors. And then she suddenly left. So her reaction to that situation, that she picked up the stutter. But she didn't have it before 6 years old.
So she wouldn't miss her friend. She mimicked her.
Yes, she mimics her. So we realized that was the cause. So every time she had an emotional, let's say,
nostalgia for her.
Not nostalgia. If she had, let's say, even when she grew and she had an exam, or she has like something that's very stressful, that stutter would come back.
But she didn't actually suffer from stutter.
No, she did not.
She just acquired it.
She just understood herself more, processed the emotions that she had, because you know there's a lot of people who throughout your life leave you, so
yes, that's true.
It kept repeating. and we dealt with it.
So since we're talking about that, I want to talk about people who suppress their emotions. Some people have really hard time expressing their emotions or find the right words to say to express how they feel.
Or even say it out loud.
Yeah, it happens to me sometimes. I get really angry and frustrated. I know why, but I cannot put it into the right words for the person in front of me to understand what's happening. It's like, I feel something, but I don't know how to tell you that. Why do you think that happens?
So, first of all, any human feels negative emotions, and a person who's happy, or let's say a balanced person, has the ability to actually feel his emotion and understand it and express it in a healthy way. The thing is, we have been programmed to suppress these emotions probably early on or during your life. So somewhere during your journey of life, someone told you that feeling negative emotions or expressing negative emotion is wrong or is bad or is not welcomed. So after that, it became your default to suppress it because you were not understood, for example. So because babies, like in instinct, if you see a baby that gets angry, he would definitely express the anger right then and now. And 2 minutes later, he can go back to play like nothing happened.
Yeah, true.
So this is like, this is the nature way. This is the natural way. But us, because we were programmed that the other way, we will suppress our emotions. That's why some people have difficulty expressing.
So you are mentioning programming and programmed. So tell us more, shed the light about that word exactly, because we know that programs mostly comes with technology, programming technologies, computers and all of that.
You can reprogram the mindset of a person. Like, let's say at a certain age, can I change, like now, like in my age? Can somebody really reprogram how I think and just makes me look at things in a different way?
Yes, you can. So I'll just shed light on the programming part. So we're born into this world, let's say we have no programmings at all. And then we go through schools, and the family dynamic also plays a role, and we start to acquire or get those beliefs and programming from that, let's say, environment. So for example, if a child was born in a healthy family dynamic and they used to tell him that you're smart, you deserve the best and all of that, he will grow up to be, let's say, a balanced person who wants to reach his goals and full of confidence.
Yes.
Whereas another child who was born and they would probably tell him you're a mistake, you don't deserve anything, you're a failure, all of those things, he will grow up to be a person who is with low self-esteem, wouldn't probably reach any goals, have negative behavioral patterns, right? So this is what I call programming. So if anyone has kids, I would really, or around them, I would really recommend them to be aware of what kind of programming they want to install in the child, because it actually affects them. Also, programming doesn't just happen in childhood. It can happen when we're adults, when we have, let's say, heavy emotions, like it can be like after loss, after divorce,
grief,
after accident, anything that has
trauma.
Yeah, any trauma can also reprogram you negatively, because your perspective is shifted now. Something happened, you're unstable emotionally, you change your perspective, you may reprogram yourself differently. But
does it happen, like, I'm sorry, you said negatively, is it always trauma get you a negative reprogramming negatively?
Can it be through genetics, maybe?
If not processed properly, yes. If the emotions and at that time they had support, it doesn't have to be a program. So I'll give you an example to simplify it. If a person went, or let's say got into a new business and that business didn't succeed, after that he will probably think about himself, or to some of it, I'm a failure. He will start labeling himself. And if that happens, then he won't even be motivated to go into business again, or wouldn't have the confidence he had before he went into that business. You see how that is programming him. Also, it can be in a positive way. So if, for example, you believe that you couldn't stand up and talk, but you did it, So you have an elevated emotions, you're happy that this will motivate you or program you, no, okay, I really actually like that, I would do it again.
Yes.
So this is a positive programming.
It happens when you try different sports or whatever, some like different foods sometimes.
She's always into sports.
No, I just would like to mention it. But when you try something new and you're afraid of trying it for the first time, like, no, that looks, no. And then you try, I'm like, what was I even scared about? Like, it's just, it was there. I guess it happens also with people who, you know, have phobias.
Yes, exactly, because the trial and error, this is a big thing. Not everyone is going to go through a trial, because there might be an error at the end of that trial.
Yeah.
And they will stop and not repeat the trial again. And I always remember children, when we were children. We stood, took our first step, and then fell. But we did it again and again.
As kids, we don't know the word quit. Like, we would burn ourselves with a lighter, but still want to try it again.
So we were programmed after that for quitting. Because when we are children, we just keep trying. But as we grow older and bigger, we think,
enough is enough.
Yes, I will not do that again. I had a bad experience. I will not repeat it, right?
Yes, and this decision is usually taken by your subconscious mind.
Okay.
Because you had a past experience that it was painful, or I got rejection, or the feedback I got around me from that, from losing this game or whatever it may be, was painful to you. So your mind now is just assessing the situation with your past.
Okay.
So you will decide not to do that. Also, when it comes to phobia, as you just said, some of those fears that we have can be inherited. So, for example, we see one family that the grandparents are afraid of flying, the parents are afraid of flying, and the kids as well.
Oh.
So I think they teach each other, right? Like, every generation teach the other generation?
Yeah, you acquire it. We call it imprint. It's when it's imprinted to them, because, for example, if you were going on a plane with your parents, you would see the fear there, and they're like, don't talk to me, I have this fear, and the panic maybe even before the flying day. So automatically they will get that fear, until someone, of course, decides to work on it and breaks the cycle. Exactly.
Well, speaking about break, I think, Ms. Bسمة, we need to have a quick break with the viewers and then continue. She is talking.
We'll be right back. And we're back with our guest. We were talking about suppressing emotions. I'm one of the people that tend to suppress their emotions for a very long time and then just burst out really bad. I suppress them. It's like, it's okay, just hold it in. And then
we've got a couple of, let's say, sayings in Arabic about that. You remember? Like, القشة التي قصمت ظهر البعير, and that is the straw that broke the camel's back.
Yeah,
because everything that you put upon his back, until that comes to the straw and he collapses.
And yeah, I think suppressing your emotions, it's really bad, unless if you have someone, let's say a best friend, someone close to talk to. Like for me, if I don't find anyone to talk to, I'll just call my best friend and try to express my emotion. That's my way of expressing. If she's not there, I just suppress them. So how can it, suppressing our emotions affect our lives, our behavior, our attitude towards people?
Okay, so suppressing emotions is something that really impacts our life. One of the things would be it would affect your mood, it would affect your health, your mental and physical health as well. But
it can reach to the physical part. Like we're talking about physically.
Physical.
Yeah, like if you have, let's say, you're emotionally upset, you would start having headaches or let's say muscle tensions. That's all part also of your physical health. But what I would like to mention here is that some people have certain behavior or pattern that they do when they are emotionally upset.
Okay.
And we call that like coping mechanisms. In order for you to cope with that negative emotion, you tend to do these things. So for example, some people, when they're emotionally upset, they would sleep a lot, or they will overeat even when they're not hungry. Yeah. Some women, it's more common, they'll go shopping and spend money on things they don't need.
Yeah, shopping is good though.
Well,
it's a therapy.
It's emotional therapy.
Emotional therapy.
Yeah, it even has a name. Yes. And other people may isolate themselves. Yeah. So these are all actions that help people get, let's say, temporary relief of the pain or the intensity of the emotion. And in the long run, these may lead you to addictions or any other more serious
that's
issues.
True. Yes, that's true. Because, yeah, as we said it, like emotional shopping, that is, a lot of people who are herders are, the beginning of their herding is emotional. They buy and keep stuff inside their homes, and then they collect and collect.
It's
emotional.
Before.
Like
emotional shopping is a great way for maybe temporary therapy.
But you have to treat that. You have to overcome it, right?
Yeah. So the first point is to know which one are you, or what's the action you have when you're emotionally upset. And it's not saying it's bad or it's something that you don't want to do, but I want you to be aware that this is your way of coping with these emotions.
Okay.
And also, as you mentioned earlier, that you let's say you burst your emotions certain times. I mean, us as humans, we have certain limited capacity, and if you bottle up your emotions, life will not allow it. You will have to burst. And here is where, like, some relationships are affected as well, because it's usually with your loved ones, or let's say with your friends. Yeah, so they get affected as well. It's in the wrong time, at the wrong place. It's bigger than it should be.
So we talked before the break about the reasons that people really suppress their emotions, and a lot of them is because, like, if a child is a male child, a lot of them don't cry, you're a man.
Yeah.
And or a girl, don't cry, you look ugly by crying.
It's not ugly. It's like the child, you stop being so soft.
Yes.
Dulu in Arabic.
Yes.
Like, stop being so spoiled. Grow up. Like as if emotions are bad. Like if I don't have emotions, I'm not human.
Yeah, and this is how they are programmed not to feel, like with listening to people saying those things to them. But in all honesty, I mean, people tend to hide their emotions because they simply it's easier. Facing your emotions sometimes require courage, and it can be painful and uncomfortable at some point. But it's simply because you're not used to it.
Okay.
And people who suppress their emotions have, like, let's say, a separation between their emotions and themselves. So it's also harder for them to understand what they are actually going through. Some have fear, like fear of judgment. Others may judge them, fear of losing some kind of control in their life. So all of these also are reasons why people may hide their emotions.
Well, I remember, like, whenever I'm angry about someone or they did something to make me upset, I go directly to them and I say it bluntly.
I do the same.
And I lost a lot of my friends because of that bluntness, and I told them, but you made me sad at that moment. Your behavior is making me angry. And they cannot comprehend the fact that you are saying something for yourself. Like, I need to talk about my emotions toward that situation.
I have, like, sometimes I would do that if someone's really close to me, but usually what I do is I would just shut myself away from them.
Okay.
Try to keep distance and just remove them out of my life.
But
in the easiest way possible.
But are our different ways good or bad? How can we, like,
what is good and what is bad? Like, I have my way, she has her way. I do what she does sometimes. If they're really close, I'm talking about my parents, my best friend.
Everyone. I do it towards everyone, because in my point of view or in my mindset says like I need to be stable. My emotions, I like to have a nicely balanced emotional mind.
My way of getting that emotional stable mind is goodbye.
Yeah, goodbye.
We're done.
You too.
So every person is different,
yes.
and every emotion is expressed differently with each person. But you choose whatever way suits you, suits your way of expressing. But just to simplify it, it doesn't have to be with other person. So if you're feeling an emotion, even if it was caused by someone else,
yeah.
it is your personal responsibility to deal with the emotion and express it in a healthy way. So when I say express it, you don't actually have to go to the person and talk to them about it. Yes, you may have a conversation to set boundaries and all of that, but I mean expressing the emotion itself is different. So if I would, let's say, sum it up in how would I deal with any emotion, it would be in 4 simple steps. So the first one is to acknowledge the emotion. A lot of people don't know how to, let's say, label the emotion.
Okay.
So just know, is it anger, is it fear, is it guilt, what kind of emotion is it? The second step would be to actually feel it, allow yourself to feel it. So now we're restoring the connection between you and yourself. Allow this emotion to flow through you. So even if you feel like it's a little bit uncomfortable, it's okay. And of course it would be in a private, I mean, just you and yourself. Yeah. The third one would be a form of expression, and the form of expression can be, let's say, venting. You want to talk to your friend, a trusted person or a specialist. Some people say, I like to journal, so journaling is also a form of expression. Exercise is a form of expression as well. A lot of artists do their art to, let's say, allow this emotion, to express their emotions. And the last one would be to accept that story happened, accept that you actually felt this emotion, that you allowed it to flow, and you expressed it the way you chose to.
These are really good 4 steps.
Yeah, but when can we say that expression, the way you express your emotions, is bad?
When it affects other people and affects your mental well-being or physical well-being, others
like
around you.
Self-harm.
Yeah, self-harm, definitely. It's not a form of expression, of processing it in a healthy way, of course.
Oh, this is really a great way. I was like thinking, I like journaling and I like painting.
I used to do journaling as a kid. I had this way, I don't know why I did it, but I used to write every single emotion that pissed me off, then I ripped the paper and just throw it away.
Which is by instinct, but this is exactly what I tell my clients to do.
I did that in high school.
Allow the emotion to talk to you through the pen and paper, and after writing or scribbling or whatever you said on the paper, we don't need it anymore, it's out. So just get rid of it.
I did that, I don't know, as a high school, middle school, whenever I'm at.
Yeah, I remember those stages when we were in high school.
I remember my family saw a paper with me writing my emotion, then I stopped. I don't know why. It was like, nobody should see this.
Yeah, but that's why whenever you write your tantrums, if I can say, a tantrum on a paper, this is what I call it all the time. It's a tantrum on a paper. Whenever I finish it, I also
Mom made me angry.
Sometimes I burn it so nobody can really put it together. But whenever I burn it, I think, yes, this feeling right now is burnt. It goes to ashes. And
sometimes you have to do the expression part more than once, depending on the emotion.
One thing my mom used to do is whenever we get those tantrums, really angry, she had a few plates in the kitchen. So go and break those plates. Those are meant to be broken. Go break them, express your emotions, then come sit next to me.
Okay, you're lucky.
I don't know, my mom used to do that. So I was like,
she's a great
open
mom.
The cabinet, there's 4 plates I bought for you, you can break them.
Just think of my mom touching her plates. That's gonna be.
They were bought specially for that.
Breaking. This is like a Greek restaurant. One of those Greek restaurants.
She bought them specially so we can express our anger, because especially my brother used to have really bad anger problems. So whenever he's getting pissed off, it's like, plates in the kitchen.
This takes me to another thing. Miss Bسمة, you are also, let's say, a breathe counsel, right?
Breath facilitator.
So tell us more about that.
What's that?
Okay, so the breathing part of what I do is that I give breathing sessions for my clients, and that helps us process unprocessed, let's say, stored emotions within our body. And it also helps us feel more relaxed, less stress. So clients that have anxiety are, let's say, are
like breathing in a bag?
No, it's a session that we just use like certain points in the body where emotions may be stored in the muscles. We just loosen them up, and they are breathing constantly without pauses.
Yes.
So we help them shift from a state of mind, let's say, that is very stressful and thoughts are not stopping, you know, when you're like
we want to stop thinking that way.
It just helps them relax and also deal with any stored emotions in your system.
I think I really want to try that. Like,
this is really great because whenever we are suppressing something or whenever we are feeling something, we need to exhale and inhale.
Yeah, people
strongly.
forget how to breathe. And usually, if you see children, their breathing is, you would see the inhale and exhale is very smooth.
Yes.
Whereas us, with life and all of that, when something bad happens, the first thing you do is you hold your breath. So this restores you to use the actual muscle that we have for breathing, which is the diaphragm. And some people now use other muscles instead. So you see people breathing and using their shoulders or their back muscles, and this puts a strain on our physical body.
That's why we have upper strains, and always we have an upper tension here.
These tensions are all, we would say, some emotions that are stored in the body. That's why we always take into account the physical body when we're talking about emotions.
Yes. Oh, this is something really new and good.
I haven't thought about it before, how my breathing could affect my feelings. I know when we get angry, we just breathe heavily, like, you know, like you get that.
Yeah, but when you are angry, sometimes also you breathe from your nose, and it is like everybody's like breathing
people
fire.
panic, they can't
and
breathe.
There is a slow here, like they are breathing fire, like a dragon, and it is because you are angry, right?
Yeah, your breathing gets faster. So one point I would also like to mention about the physical body and the emotions is. So the body has senses and organs within it, and these senses and organs were part of your life journey. So they were with you in all your ups and downs during your life. So I would always hear my clients say, for example, at that traumatic event, I couldn't breathe.
Yes.
Or my heart was beating, I felt sweaty.
Panics.
Or for example, I zoned out, I cannot hear or see anything. So those are all emotions that have physical symptoms with them. That's why it's very important to understand that during that time or during that situation, you stored this in your body. You couldn't handle it, so you had all those physical bodies and all those emotions that weren't processed. So when I say we deal with breathing, deals with that.
Yes.
Anything that has been stored in your
at those moments that comes in all of our lives. That the time that the panic attacks, or the time that you want to shout on someone, but you know that you cannot shout on them.
Or anger problems. Some people lose their mind when they get angry. They can't control. They can't. Like some people say, "I can't see in front of me now." But like,
they see red, or they see red in front of them. This is what everybody. I can see red in my. I cannot hear someone talking while they are.
Everyone, like, I don't know. Some people have their really bad anger problems. But now let's talk about the subconscious.
Okay.
How does it affect your decision making? How does it affect your lives? Because subconscious, you cannot really control it, maybe?
As we don't control our time, so we need to...
but
we
I
need
really
to answer that question in less than a minute.
Okay, so the human brain has two parts, the conscious and the subconscious. And the conscious is just, if I ask you what's your name or what time is it, you would use the
I know the answer.
conscious. But the subconscious is totally different. Imagine it's like a box that has all your memories, all your programming, all your trauma, or your even positive memories as well. Is all stored there. And what happens when we have a decision to make, the subconscious would now compare and assess the situation, compare it to your past experience. So if, for example, we had a person who had a painful divorce and then she has an opportunity to get married again, the moment she sees the opportunity, there's like a signal within her, danger, danger, because that may happen again. So she would probably say, no, I think marriage is not for me, but that's her subconscious.
Okay.
So there's a study even that says 90% of our decision making is made in the subconscious mind.
Which is dangerous.
Very dangerous.
Because you cannot control the subconscious unless you're aware of it.
Exactly.
You have to be conscious of your subconscious.
That's
scary.
You need to be conscious about the programming that's affecting you. So if she was conscious of the programming, she would have changed the perspective. Instead of looking at marriage as something bad, she would start to convince herself or prove to herself that this is not something bad.
Okay.
That's deep.
That is quite deep. And
Yes, it is.
talking about the human mind is...
It's an evolution in itself, if we can say that. Ms. Basma, you were great with us. You opened new ventures of our way of thinking.
Open your mind.
Yeah, about our emotions, or of our conscious and subconscious at the same time. And the breathing techniques that... I'm waiting for Hadil to try it.
You should try with me.
No, I'm trying it after you. That would be the best thing. I want to see how does it...
See?
This is my subconscious talking.
Your subconscious is afraid.
Yeah, but
it's just breathing.
A great time to talk with you, and we should do it again. I think after the sessions we need to answer so many questions that comes to our mind at this moment, because if we are thinking about emotions, it's a total different word than anything that we experience. So thank you for being here with us and opening those doors with us.
Thank you very much.
Thank you
it was
for
a
your time.
pleasure.